All right. What's up, my dudes? Welcome to the Cerebrolysin Deep Dive Addendum discussion live stream video, where I'm going to answer your questions that you posted in the Cerebrolysin Deep Dive video a couple days ago. Actually, it was last week. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but on Friday, it's no point to do a live stream because everybody's having a good old time watching TV or going out and having drinks. So we're doing this live stream today. I'm going to answer your questions that were posted. We're going to discuss these three hit piece articles investigating and discussing if cerebrolysin is even has even neurotropic factors or contains other amino acids which might have a neurotropic benefit, like I highlighted in the video, and a boatload of dubious practices in the scientific community from people that are actually working with or are sponsored by Everpharma, and thus the scientific evidence might not be entirely correct, and there's a lot of duplication of readings and pictures and data and that kind of stuff. So we're going to discuss all of that in this video. Let's find out if cerebrolysin is worth it or not, if cerebrolysin has any potential nootropic and neurotropic factor secreting effects, or if it's just a very expensive injectable, lyophilized or purified pig brains, basically an injectable protein shake that you could substitute with something else. Right after the disclaimer, though. All right. Don't forget to like the video. That's highly appreciated. Leave a comment for the algorithm to boost this video to nth degree, to the max degree, so everybody can watch it. Because, Brian Johnson obviously was very high in very forefront on cerebrolysin, and now a lot of people are interested in it. That's why I made that deep dive. But the scientific evidence and the anecdotal experience don't really seem to match up. So let's get started with the questions first. This time I'm just going to share my screen. So please, guys, in the chat, if you're already here, let me know if you can see the comments. Because the last time I did an overlay for the methylene blue addendum live stream, the comments did not show up. It felt pretty stupid afterwards. So in the chat, please let me know if you see my face and the overlay from the YouTube comment section, and then we can get started. I don't want to make that same mistake again. We can see it. All right, perfect. Then we're going to get started. Okay, so in the pinned comments, obviously a boatload of information, right? The Cerebrolysin official website, and the dosage guidelines, and the product information, and product monograph, the treatment handbook, but no medical insert, because cerebrolysin is not FDA approved in the Western world. It's FDA approved in China, Russia, even here in Thailand it's available, but no medical insert. So when you go through these instructions on the website, for the guys that do a lot of research, you might see that there's some discrepancy in a false presenting of information without proper citations and that kind of stuff. So this was a very interesting deep dive to discuss. Again, I have these three articles, which we're going to discuss: the In Bed with Hari and Aruma, cerebrolysin, Dharmas, Muslias, and Everpharma, and what the hell is cerebrolysin actually? And then, a couple of the supplements I discussed, like all of these supplements are known to increase brain-derived neurotropic factor levels with some of the ingredients that it contains, like Respawn and Energy Shot and Energy Drink, all contain L-theanine and a couple other ingredients. And at least L-theanine is known to increase brain-derived neurotropic factor levels in the brain. And then a boatload of citations. Yes, a boatload. More citations than you'll ever see from any other educator on this subject. And then 10 more replies with more citations. Oh, and a lot of comments. Okay, I didn't post those comments, but those were the citations. So let's get started by answering the questions real quick. Cody asks, if I were to open a 10 milliliter vial of cerebrolysin and split it into 3 atomiters for 3 days use of intranasal use, would the third day still be effective, and would the cerebrolysin degrade in nature by that time? Could be. Yeah, you're exposing it to air, obviously, and even if you keep it at the fridge at a stable temperature, it will probably degrade. I could not find anything regarding the storage of cerebrolysin. So they do mention specifically that you could store it at room temperature, which, if you know your peptides, it's probably better to store your peptides in the fridge. But even though some of the insulin formulations and the growth hormone formulations that are all FDA approved, they also say that you should store it at room temperature. I think urine purified HCG also at room temperature, or was it in the fridge? Oh, it's been a while. It's a couple inserts ago that I read about human chorionic gonadotropin. But if you know your peptides, right, after reconstitution, after opening a vial or cracking open or piercing the rubber stopper, it's probably best to keep it in the fridge. So in your case, if you have 10 milliliter vials of cerebrolysin, split that up over 3 atomizers. Again, I wouldn't do it, honestly. It's a lot of cerebrolysin up the nose, bro. But technically, based on the scientific evidence, it should be. It should be a thing to do, but you have to literally administer that every 12 minutes. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. You'll be sniffing all your way. More you'll probably overcome your Afron addiction, but you'll be shooting shit up your nose at the same frequency as your Afron addiction. Yeah, I would do 5 milliliter vials in 1 atomizer, and then just keep that. Just keep that in the fridge for 1 or 2 days that you run through it. The 10 milliliter vials, right, maybe 3 days afterwards. It's not, or it's probably too long of a time. You're exposing it to air, and even if you're keeping it in the fridge, probably over time it will denature. Even though the amino acid content of cerebrolysin is what, 75% to 85%, and those amino acids, they don't degrade, but it's these peptide fragments that might degrade over time. Let's see, a unique YouTube handle. Want to see the neurotropic factor comparison video. Yeah, that's in the pipeline. I still want to make a lot of other deep dives. Retatrutide, tirzepatide, and myonostal tripyrophosphate, methylene blue, deep dive part 2, because I forgot a couple studies and subjects that I should be discussing, so we'll do a part 2. And then I think I'll mix in the neurotropic factor deep dive video somewhere along that time. And then, of course, we have a follistatin deep dive as well. Right, epicatechin versus YK11 versus follistatin 344, the experiment that I'm running now. Here's your epicatechin front double bicep. All right. I can't imagine putting a 1.2 hour presentation, and yet here Coach Steve is putting this stuff out for free for all that are willing to listen. Yes, and all you got to do is sit through a couple ads, which is not the end of the world. Let's see, Zila, would taking an SSRI at high dose have a similar effect on neurogenesis? I'm already prescribed one, that's why I ask. So some of the SSRIs, like fluvoxamine or vortioxetine, are very potent in the increase in brain-derived neurotropic factor, but that's something I'll need to discuss in the brain-derived neurotropic factor or neurotropic factor secretagogue video to see which of these compounds, whether that's cerebrolysin or SSRIs or Noopept or dihexa or some of the over-the-counter supplements like omega-3 fish oil and L-theanine, for example, will address all of that. Which of these are the most potent regarding the increase in brain-derived neurotropic factor, and which other growth factor or neurotropic factors are increased from those compounds as well. So that will take some time. I'm running fluvoxamine 50 milligrams per day, and I feel that the effects of cerebrolysin are longer lasting. At one point or another, those effects of cerebrolysin are starting to fade away. So I feel that 50 milligrams fluvoxamine or 100 milligrams fluvoxamine, what I was running in the past, and then occasional use of dihexa, Noopept, etc., which also increase BDNF levels, it keeps the effects of the cerebrolysin going, but at one point it starts to wear off, and then I feel I need another treatment course to really bring my mood and my cognition and the reduction in brain fog and all of that stuff to the next level. And I would not know what the comparative dose of dihexa every day or Noopept every day or fluvoxamine every day would be. And again, for vortioxetine allegedly increases brain-derived neurotropic factor a little bit more than fluvoxamine on the efficacious dosage ranges, but vortioxetine killed my dick. Literally, I could barely get an erection and I had zero libido. So that was not for me, even though other people say that they don't have that side effect. So yeah, fluvoxamine was in the trash after a week of continuous use. Let's see. This has to be the best cerebrolysin video on YouTube. Top quality from the coach as always. I'm a frequent user of cerebrolysin, doing 10 days for 10 milliliters for 3 months per year as doc prescribed for traumatic brain injuries. For me, it was a game changing. Yeah, so if you read, so you see a lot of these anecdotal reports of cerebrolysin, right? Even though Brian Johnson said it was hard to quantify what the effects of cerebrolysin were for him because he's a healthy individual and he does so much other stuff. I'm a little bit more in tune with my body. For Brian Johnson, biohacking is maybe a project of the last 3 years. I've been doing this since I was 15 years old. Yes, started with recreational drugs though. So I'm a little bit more in tune with my body than most people. So I can feel clear effects, but it's still a little bit hard to quantify. And then when you read these hit piece articles, those three that we're going to discuss after we're done with the questions, basically they claim that cerebrolysin doesn't do anything at all. But if you go to Reddit and you read reports like this, that it's a game changer, it does do something, and it seems to be a little bit different from for everybody else. So, right, if it was a game changer for Octavian, and I noticed some different, some beneficial effects in all of the people that I recommended it to that wanted to overcome addiction, and also said it was a game changer, then obviously the anecdotal reports far outweigh the scientific evidence or these hit pieces where they say that cerebrolysin basically contains nothing and doesn't do anything. Let's see. What is this? Stickers Vive. I really love to use the sample and disseminate information on colloidal metals for their nootropic effects. Colloidal gold, colloidal platinum, colloidal copper, colloidal palladium. No, never come across that before, but I'll keep my eye on it. How far that is going to be down in the priority list of deep dives, probably very, very low, but I'll keep my eye on it. If I see something about it, I'll look a little bit more into depth. But yeah, I know people are doing this. Man, a silver for your immune system and stuff, very popular during C-19 pandemic. But yeah, I haven't really looked much into it. Cerebrolysin is old news. One neurogenesis, you can microdose ibogaine and psilocybin. Yes, yes. Fortunately, both are very different. No, that's not true. Psilocybin is pretty easy to source nowadays. LSD is a little bit more difficult, and ibogaine is also pretty difficult, depending on where you are. But the scientific evidence is very thin, and or at least as I know, and we had to get the cerebrolysin video done first. So I'm willing to look into that if there's a lot of demand for neurogenesis, brain-derived neurotropic factor, and that kind of stuff. But based on the views of this cerebrolysin deep dive and my affiliate sales afterwards, you can keep track of that. I would say that there's not as much demand as a deep dive on methylene blue, erythritol, tirzepatide, etc. So again, low priority. That was a Jacques Cousteau deep dive. I'll take that as a compliment. Man, you guys remember Jacques Cousteau when that was on TV? That was great. If you have to ask, of course, we want a comparison. Yeah. Well, it's good to, if I ask you guys, you post a comment, and that's good for the algorithm. So sometimes it's good to ask, but I see several people asking for the comparison. So yes, I'll definitely do that, but I had to go through a couple other deep dives first. What a coincidence, wanted to buy cerebrolysin for the first time, and now the algorithm recommends me a new video about it. Nice. Yeah, this is how the algorithm works. You're thinking about something, and then you're not really sure, and then the algorithm gives you something so you can purchase it. Yeah, that's how the economy works. I take Nootropic supplements and definitely want to see in comparison which compound increases brain drive. Nootropic factor the most. Okay, so it's definitely on the to-do list for brain gains that are blasphemous to billions. Yeah. Against cerebrolysin, we use subcutaneous. No, that's not recommended. Like if you want to assess your tolerance, if you have a porcine allergy, you can inject 0.1 milliliter or 0.5 milliliters cerebrolysin, but subcutaneous would not recommend it. And of course, the efficacious dose of cerebrolysin starts at like 2.5 milliliters daily. 2.5 milliliters daily subcutaneous is a lot, man. It's a lot. And how would the effects be different of SubQ compared to IM? There's nothing in the scientific evidence comparing SubQ versus IM, and I don't know anybody that's tried it because the injection volume is so high. So I would go with intramuscular, yeah, or intravenous, and then take it from there. And if you don't want to do that, then well, that's what the oral neurotropic factor secretagogues are for, like dihexanopept or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which come with their own laundry list of potential side effects and drug interactions. So be forewarned. I also want more nootropic content. Where are you all getting your cerebrolysin from? Well, that's CN as an abbreviation, and that's what the website is there for, bro. Steve to the rescue. Look at this chin. Luke's maxing. What is it? Easter Island emoji. This is the best content on YouTube, hands down. Steve, love the peptide content. All right, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you providing this information all for free. My pleasure. I also use this with many adverse effects as vertigo and brain fog. Used with extreme caution. I'd also like to include that I gained absolutely nothing. Okay, so this is somebody that didn't gain anything and had vertigo and brain fog. So yeah, that happens. Right? Not every drug is suitable for everybody. That's why there's so many drugs out there and so many different drugs to experiment with. And if you get an adverse effect like vertigo, brain fog, or you don't gain anything, then throw it in the trash. It's the same as me. DMP, BAM15, all these compounds that might have a beneficial effect. You run it a little bit, you only get adverse effects, and the beneficial effects are kind of negligible compared to the negative effects. Just throw it away. Just throw it away. If it didn't work for you, Sid Rice, just don't use it. And thanks for your input. Queenslander. Queensland. Is that a Homelander joke? Queenslander. Queen slander. All right. The joke eludes me. Thanks, Steve. I've been doing 2 milliliters, 10-day cycles of this every couple of months. All right, next time, let us know your results. If you're doing it frequently, let us know what you notice. So we can, for the guys that never use Cerebrolysin, they have some incentive whether they want to purchase it or not. A video about the nootropic factors and comparing all nootropic compounds would be nice, especially if the side effects and contraindications would also be involved. You know me, dude. If I do a deep dive, I include everything, no matter how small and negligible the beneficial effects, the side effects, or contraindications would be. That's why I always see an asterisk. This is a cytochrome P450, a 3F4 enzyme inhibitor, or an inducer, or this has a drug interaction with this compound that might be further down the list, or that you should pay extra special attention to, because I know that you're probably taking that because you're watching this YouTube channel and you get too much information about particular performance-enhancing drugs or nootropics. So I include everything. So if I do the nootropic factor deep dive, it will be all-inclusive. It will be the best nootropic factor deep dive you've ever seen. Bet your ballsack on it. Both of them. And if they're already impaired from HPTA, then you can bet your anus as well. And your prostate. It's great. It's great. Just had to imagine that one. It's crazy how fast you're getting huge, looking like a goddamn super mutant from Fallout. I don't think that's a compliment, dude. What's the first evolutionary virus stack? Just 625 tests and epicatogen, 360 milligrams per day. So I don't know. I don't feel super big, man. I'm 105 kilos, getting leaner. That's good. Looking a little bit scruffy though. I don't know. I should have shaved. I just realized it. I should have shaved a little bit. All right, this is still going. Excellent review of the literature as always. Totally interested in seeing a comparison. Thanks for the heads up at the start. Yeah, man. I felt that it's only fair to put the information at the beginning because, well, apparently brain-derived neurotropic factor is not the key ingredient in Cerebrolysin. Steve is an absolute chat. 18 likes. Absolute chat. To do that job pumping, looks maxing stuff. For putting this video together and making information this type of stuff super accessible to the general public. Should be called Rigorous Steve. Yes. Yeah, I'm very rigorous and vigorous. And again, it's a pissing contest for me. Somebody has to do it. It will be me. Different topic about post-surgery pads. Okay, we're not going to discuss that. This one I already answered. Take dihexa once or twice per week. It's great nootropic effects and increased BDNF levels as well, but I haven't done a deep dive on it. So I'll include dihexa in the BDNF deep dive or the nootropic factor deep dive. But again, dihexa, noopept, many of these compounds have little scientific evidence, so I might as well bundle it all together and then give you guys a breakdown. Because not everything needs a deep dive, or not every compound needs a deep dive. Sometimes you just need to put everything together and then make a deep dive on a particular subject, what it is known for, what the benefits are. Nootropic list with a bit of details into pros and cons would be fantastic. That will be a very long tier list. And it's so individual, dude, because everybody responds differently, right? Just because I like bromantane and dihexa and noopept and cerebrolysin once a year, doesn't mean you will. So, and of course, if you remember the steroid tier list, it's how many people got butthurt for us putting Dianabol in F tier or DHB in F tier. Man, you should have seen the comments, dude. I'm unsubscribing. So, yeah, watch the not optimized endurance. Watch the entrepreneur nootropic deep dive where I discuss all of these compounds. It's very, very long. It's like 6 parts or 5 parts. So I discuss most of the nootropics there, right? And group them. These are increasing neurogenesis. These are for mood. These are for motivation and productivity. These are for cognition and memory recollection. And then I present the stack at the end of it. Um, I could do a nootropic deep dive, but I would, man, I would have to really dive back into the nootropics so it's all in my brain, and then know how they kind of intertier between all of them. And I need to get some other deep dives out of the way. So again, let's do the BDNF deep dive first. Then we can do a nootropics tier list. Um, Might be better if I get some two other guys on board. Kind of like the anabolic roundtable, but we do the nootropic roundtable. And slow down. Don't start posting. I know what you guys are thinking. Slow the fuck down. What about this guy and that guy? It's only so many hours in the day, man. It's yeah. I'm working as hard as I can. Let's see. This is just all compliments. Loving the thumbnail. What is a dipeptidyl peptidase inhibitor? Dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor. So this is text to speech, obviously. This is why you need to watch the entire video or use the timestamps so you can answer your own question. Yeah. Every time I've tried it, my mood shifts negatively and I don't sleep anywhere near as well. Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you for your input. So apparently this guy also got a negative effect. And he said 6 milliliters, 3 milliliters in each strap. Yeah, I know you guys got that recommendation of a trap injection of cerebrolysin, which honestly is fucking stupid because it goes systemic. I pulled Leo aside when that video was made. I said, guys, you don't have to put it in as close to the brain as possible because it diffuses, it goes into the central circulation, and then the blood will eventually take it to the brain or other parts of the body. If you want it in the brain, do what that rat study did. You make a hole here and inject it there, all right, through the skull. So yeah, don't inject it in the traps. Just do it in the glutes, in the legs, or in the lats. If you have big lats like me, if you have lats like this, right, you can easily put 5 milliliters cerebrolysin on both sides, and it goes in like butter. You don't need to put the traps. Don't put anything in the traps unless you want to be like that wrestler turned IFB pro and always flexes and I don't know, Clearwater stuff on Instagram. Another one of those weird influencers. Let's see, 3 days at a time, and by then my mood is progressively worsened. Yeah, maybe I just have a tension headache from the trap injections. My sleep progressively deteriorated. Tried this multiple times, 3 times spread out over 1.5 years. Got the same experience every time. Really wanted this to work. Didn't have a good experience. Dude, if you have some cerebrolysin left by any chance, just put it in the glutes. And how do you do 6 ml when the ampules are 5 ml or 10 ml or 2.5 ml? So, or was it 2 ml? So you do 3 2 ml in ampules. Okay. Do it in the glutes, man. There's absolutely no fucking reason to put it in the traps. Absolutely no reason. And I know Leo talked a lot about this, but I wish he did a little bit more research on this compound so we know that it doesn't contain brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is, I think they put it on the website before a couple of years ago when I researched on it, like cerebrolysin.com. It says, yeah, it contains all of these ingredients. And then you start doing research and you're like, wait a minute. There's no HPLC results or Elysia results or third-party results. And then you go down the rabbit hole and then you see that, okay, maybe it's just a growth or neurotropic factor secretagogue and the ingredients might have other beneficial effects. But I did my absolute best. I dove down so hard the rabbit hole, I came out the other side of the planet. And the scientific evidence is not that compelling, in my opinion. But again, the anecdotal reports, including my own personal experience, great. There wasn't a lot of literature on cerebrolysin messed with and therefore not reliable. Have a search. Yeah, so that's the articles that we're going to discuss. But still, the anecdotal reports are quite substantial. And sometimes you have to go with that if you're looking for something similar. Let's give it to Steve for working his ass off for all of us bros out there. Now we have one of the most comprehensive medical libraries on YouTube. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, that's true. That is true. More deep dives coming. Can this work for autism and epilepsy? So I already commented that I didn't see anything in the scientific literature to support that. Autism is linked to oxidative stress, and cerebrolysin has potential antioxidant properties, and that's about the only link that makes cerebrolysin a treatment for autism a possibility. In the fertility deep dive, I linked a podcast that Dr. Peter Attia did with Stephanie, a female doctor. and they go over autism and oxidative stress and potential solutions for this condition. Give that one a watch. So you go to the male fertility protocols video. I think it's somewhere at the top. So watch that podcast. It's a very good podcast. Absolutely fantastic information and discussion. And then you go down the rabbit hole. But cerebrolysin will be very low on the medication list for autism potentially, because again, nothing in the scientific evidence that cerebrolysin has been used for autism or epilepsy, but it could be. It could be. Goat Ninja, I completed a 6-week course of 5 milliliters intramuscular injections daily, finished 3 weeks ago. Additionally, I chose to participate in Dry January, abstaining for alcohol. Okay, awesome. I'd never heard about Dry January, but it makes sense after Christmas and New Year. And have maintained, did I have a Dry January? Actually, I had a Dry January also, but just by accident, because I don't have any friends, so I didn't go out. So, yeah, unfortunately. And have maintained this commitment up until present. Okay, nice work. I did not maintain. I've had 2 servings of alcohol in the meantime since the end of January. So one in February, one in March, and maybe another one this week. Let's see. Alongside this, I've been taking 0.25 milligrams retroglutide each day. I've attributed my nearly complete lack of desire for alcohol to the retroglutide, but now I'm wondering if the cerebrolysin might have been a primary factor. So there's a lot of people that overcome their addiction. I'm not sure if you're addicted to alcohol or it just removes your need or desire for alcohol. But yeah, cerebrolysin has been known, just like testosterone replacement therapy, has been known to resolve addiction behavior, right? So whether that's gambling or porn addiction, sex addiction, even though with testosterone it might be heightened, and it is a libido enhancing drug after all. Gambling, alcohol, recreational drugs. Testosterone replacement therapy is very good to overcome an addiction for recreational drugs, because recreational drugs will obviously increase your dopaminergic system, and then testosterone does the same. So you take the recreational drugs out and you stimulate your dopaminergic system with testosterone instead. And then and I have the same thing, dude. I come from a long line of drug addicts, mostly to alcohol. And I notice when I'm on cycle, even tier or above, I don't really feel like drinking or don't feel like taking something, a little bit more of a party drug. Again, I haven't touched those in years, but sometimes it pops to mind like, oh, remember those days when I took XYZ, mostly X, and LSD? When you're on tier there above, you're not thinking about that at all. And then you come off cycle to get your wife pregnant or go off cycle to resolve non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And then in the back of my brain, I'm like, hey, you should go out, have a couple drinks, get that dopaminergic system going. It's terrible, dude. So yeah, maybe cerebrolysin helps with that, but I've never taken cerebrolysin solo without TRT or cycle. But I know plenty of guys that overcame their addiction, whether it was alcohol or recreational drugs or even porn addiction with cerebrolysin. But the treatments are usually like 5 to 10 milliliters or even up to 50 milliliters intravenous infusions, obviously, every single day for like 1 or 2 months. And that's pretty extensive, obviously, and also quite expensive, because 50 milliliters cerebrolysin per day is not cheap. What's up, dudes? What's up, my dude? Steve, I watched some older content maybe 2.5 years ago. You were looking chill with hair talking about slowing down. Now this is a goddamn house of this animated human just giving you 120%. Fucking love it, bro. Yeah. I don't know what happened the last 2.5 years, but I got a lot more animated. I started talking a lot faster, and I obviously got jacked again, which is great. It's good to be jacked as long as you're healthy. But I go through these phases, right? Sometimes, like when I'm off, during the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, I was fasting for 6 weeks with diet breaks in the weekend, and then I had no energy, obviously. So if you see me super small with the funky hairdo, I think it was in this studio as well. Yeah, then it might be a little bit slow. That's why some of the older content we're doing, so you guys have a little bit more up-to-date information and not slow mo Steve. Great deep dive, coach. I'm casting a vote for the comparison video. All right. Yeah, put it on the do list. Only a minute in, looking forward to it. The BDNF thing is a misconception. It doesn't contain BDNF. Yeah, that's what I found out later also. But it potentially increases it more than anything. I've used it on and off over the last 4 years, and it's really great stuff. So that's another positive anecdotal experience. Firelight improves my mood more than anything else I've tried. Calming and improves my ability to respond to stressful situations. That's the exact same thing that I noticed. Keeping me level-headed and positive. It's a game changer. Thanks, Steve. See, again, another positive anecdotal report, even though allegedly it doesn't contain anything. Just in time for cardio. Picked up my Cerebrolysin that I had laying around for a year. I'm literally injecting it as I'm watching this video. Fuck yes. This is the way to do it. Right? This is the way. By the way, injection subcutaneous is more likely to trigger an immune response. I would never do that with Cerebrolysin, even when testing it later, are likely to develop antibodies against its components. Okay, did not know that, but it could be. Could be. You even start developing antibodies against recombinant insulin. Really? I need to look into this. So ash shots are okay? Yes. Yes, ash shots are very good. Again, I would not recommend frequent Cerebrolysin injections done subcutaneously, but if you want to assess your response, because you suspect a porcine allergy, then that's probably the least invasive way to do it. You know, that pig looks highly intelligent. Yeah, thank God for AI, man. You just Google a pig with glasses that's muscular, AI, and then you get these kinds of results. It's great. What would we do without AI? It would be like 1,000 hours in Photoshop. Brain steroids is the future. I agree. Based. Look at this. Look at this fucking cat. It's not a cat. Picture this. I watched this while I have 5 to 20 milliliters vials on the way. I've been waiting for this video since the first mention of it months ago. Where did you order it from? CN. Come on. I'll give you another hint. Cosmic. It's not difficult. Bro, how are you injecting 10 milliliters every day? Laughing my ass off. I have big glutes and big legs, so that leaves a lot of volume for injection. The most I could manage for a few days was 5 milliliters, 3 milliliters in the glute, and 1 milliliter SubQ in the stomach, 8 milliliters max, doing milliliters in the chest SubQ. Such a fucking chore, man. Hey, man. Man the fuck up. If we start swearing, then I'm just going to tell it like it is. Man the fuck up. 5 milliliters left cheek, 5 milliliters right cheek. It goes in like butter. You can do it again the next day. It's not oil. It's water-based. It diffuses, it absorbs, it's gone. It's literally gone in an hour. So, man, fuck up. We don't deserve you, Steve. I swear I will look back on these videos and get sad whenever you stop uploading these regularly. Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts. What's the recent news on how the most of these Cerebrolysin research has been fraudulent? Yes, I did mention that in the articles, and we're going to discuss that shortly. All right. This guy never watched my channel. Curious if you will do a video on Samax. I have 6 videos on Samax, bro. Or 3. 3. Search the channel. Also wants to see a comparison video. Seen people say they developed nerve problems with this. Never read that, and I was pretty thorough with my anecdotal reports review. Did not read that. So, Jack, if you found that online, post the citation or post the link where you read that, because I didn't read that. I used them frequently until I developed debilitating vertigo 4 years ago and still deal with it today. Be careful. So did the Cerebrolysin give you debilitating vertigo, like the other guy mentioned, dizziness, or did that come from something else? Yeah, Frederick says, never had one problem in my life with vertigo and started using it at 35 and 37. Had terrible vertigo, which is an inner ear issue. Hard to say what exactly happened. I had no other chance in supplements aside from that. Okay, that's good to hear. Again, anecdotal reports are very important because the sample size of the scientific evidence is maybe a couple thousand people, and then anecdotal reports is a sample size of hundreds of thousands of people, and then this kinds of stuff might happen. If Cerebrolysin can cause brain tumors, I don't think it's a stretch to say the effects also. Okay. Sounds serious. It's very thorough, in-depth, deep dive into the subject. I was considering doing very timely. Thank you, soon to be Papa Steve, for this great video. Yes. All right, that's it. Let's get back to the chat real quick. Do a couple member questions. Zionic, another Vigorous Steve live stream. Feels like I just pinned Cerebrolysin straight into the brain. Hell yes. Ready for the knowledge bombs and bodybuilding wisdom in real time. Thanks, brother. My pleasure, bro. Sup, my dudes. Can you split a 10 milliliter ampule in 2 shots of 5 milliliters in different days? Yeah, I think that's okay. If you So you have the 10 milliliter ampule. Actually, I did this exactly the same myself, Benjamin. So you just crack open the 10 milliliter ampule, you draw 5 milliliters, you pin that, and you draw 5 milliliters, and you put that in the fridge. Because I kept my cerebrolysin in the fridge always. I like my peptides in the fridge just so like, I well, no, let's not go into analogies. So, and then I would inject it the next day. And then if you keep this cerebrolysin in the 5 milliliter syringe, obviously there's no air in there. So the air cannot like potentially contaminate or denature or whatever, oxidize the cerebrolysin contained within, because I literally make sure that I press all of the air out of the syringe and it's literally ready to inject the next day. And if I did 10 milliliters post lactate, then obviously I accidentally the entire vial, and then I would sleep like a fucking baby, bro. I'm just here to say the Jack Big thumbnail of the video was S tier. Yeah, sometimes you have to, sometimes you get lucky. You find this really, really quick. And I think I spend more time on the glasses that I put on myself for this deep dive or for this addendum live stream than I found that pig video. Like that one, I took glasses and I had to remove the side things and put another one on there to make it look, nice. I'm OCD like that. In Canva, I don't have any Photoshop skills. So, but yeah, I found that one really, really fast. You just you type in muscle pig glasses or smart muscle pig and then AI behind it, and then you'll find it. And so this is a question for the Vigorous Q&A. Thoughts on Buta Suba to increase DHT? Butea Superba. I never heard about that. Sorry. This is a cerebrolysin video. Ask it on the Vigorous Q&A. Hey, Steve, can I use some SubQ? Can I continue to use topical tretinoin and start? Yes. Yes, you can use it SubQ. I've injected it SubQ as well. And you can use topical tretinoin if you start SubQ GHK copper. No problem at all. But let's stick to the cerebrolysin stuff. Anthony Boas, just a caveat. I bought and injected cerebrolysin and ended up in the hospital with severe large abscess and was pulling syringes full of blood out of my glutes daily until the antibiotics kicked in. Holy shit. I've never heard of that before. Man, all of my injections of cerebrolysin were smooth as butter. Can you contact me on Instagram and tell me where you got it from? Because that's alarming. All right? That's alarming to hear. So please contact me on Instagram. We can do that now or after this live stream is done. And let me know where you got it from, because that's alarming to hear. I would like to know, because if it's, for something I endorse, then it's obviously not good news. I need neurogenesis, but I'm allergic to pigs. Discovering cerebrolysin is giving me massive FOMO and frustration. So if you have a porcine allergy, look into the alternative, which is made from calves. Calves, right? So that's young cows, and that's called cortexin. 10 milliliters or 10 milligrams injectable cortexin, based on the scientific evidence, which I discussed in the cerebrolysin deep dive, is about equivalent to 25 milliliters cerebrolysin. So you could reconstitute cortexin and take like 2.5 milligrams or let's say 2 milligrams, and then you get about 5 milliliters cerebrolysin. So you would take 2 milligrams daily and then escalate the dose upward. I just didn't get any beneficial effects beyond the 60 days of cerebrolysin at 5 to 10 milliliters daily, with the occasional intravenous infusion of 50 milliliters, just because for the fucking hell of it. And then I didn't get any benefits on another 20 days of cortexin. But if you start with cortexin, right, it's made from calves, you'll have to do some deep diving, because I didn't do it for you. But you can use Perplexity AI to get pretty far deep diving yourself. So cortexin is made from calves. You could still get Brown's disease because it's purified from animals, even though the scientific evidence for cerebrolysin and cortexin shows that there's no association with Brown's disease. If I get super smart, I'll be able to make money to pay for this stuff. Yeah, it's not cheap. I think there were like 3 price hikes over the last couple of years. It's not cheap, man. I felt high on day 2 of cerebrolysin. Is it all day or after the injection? That's pretty good. Oh yeah. Or you're calling scruffy. uh, Chat, where does this quote come from? Where do you where does this quote come from? You guys know. Tried cerebralizing but stopped when I started losing hair. Some evidence increased brain drive nootropic factor. Fuck, I totally forgot to include that. Oh no. Jesus Christ, brandy dandelion. You're right. I mentioned this in the other cerebralizing deep dive, but I totally did not include it here. Turns out my thyroid results were good. Hair loss stopped with T4. Might try again. So I think I experienced a little bit of hair loss last time. I mean, like in this area, it was thinning out a little bit. But I was running 5 milliliters cerebralizing for 30 days. And now I tried 5 milliliters to 10 milliliters cerebralizing. But back then I had hair. And now I'm obviously trimmed, right? Shaven Haven, bald American Eagle, motorboating galore. I do need to shave though. Fuck, it looks terrible. Look like a fucking ashtray now. Totally unfuckable. Um, so where were we? Oh yeah, cerebralizing. Increasing brain derived neurotropic factor. Yes, brain derived neurotropic factor is associated with hair loss. And if you increase brain derived neurotropic factor, then hair loss could get accelerated. This is the meme, the hidden joke of highly intelligent men all being bald because of the increase in brain derived neurotropic factor. So thank you for reminding me, Randy. I will make sure that I include this in the brain derived neurotropic factor, aka neurotropic factor secretagogue deep dive, and then make all the Lux Maxing guys aware that increasing your BDNF might make you bald. Again, nothing in the scientific evidence that any of the patients got bald from cerebralizing. So take that from what it's will. But then again, the increase in brain derived neurotropic factor in serum is not that stellar. I think what was it, 12 to 20, 12 to 25%? You know, guys, this is for the Vigorous Q&A. I don't have time to answer this right now. This is not, when you see the shirt, it's not Vigorous Q&A. So save that. D-Brad, Steve, did you know the synergy with growth hormone? Yes, I did improved synergy regarding sleep quality. So I would take maybe 2 IUs, 5 IUs, 10 IUs, growth hormone, or 20 IUs even, but it was generics, doesn't count. Growth hormone before bed, and then with cerebralizing, let's 5 to 10 milliliters. Man, sleep is the best ever. I slept like a baby. Honestly, I slept like a baby. Just you sleep, it's so nice. You wake up, you feel super refreshed. Like, yeah, I can get this day started. You know. But of course, if you inject 10 IU's growth hormone, let's say street value, right? What pharmaceutical grade, 4 times 10. And how much is an ampule of cerebralizing nowadays? Let me see. Totally forgot. Buy cerebralizing. It's funny. Where do I buy it? And I just type in buy cerebralizing, and you get a website. How difficult is it? Is it not loading? Oh, hmm. Website is slow. All right, let's check it. So let's say with the growth hormone, you get beneficial sleeping effects, and let's say 2 to 3 IU. So let's say we do it cheap, right? We do 2 IU's growth hormone. That's $8 pharmaceutical, or $2.50, $3 if you go with generics that are decent. $3 to $8, and then cerebralizing. Of course, the website doesn't load. Great. Let's say 5 milliliters is what, $7.50 or something. So that's 750. So for 8 plus 750, let's say $10 to $15. That's pretty expensive to get good sleep, but cheaper than sleeping in a good hotel. So yeah, nothing in life is cheap, man. But that's the best I ever slept. I mean I need to keep the needle in for 3 whole minutes and inject over 3 minutes? That's recommended. I injected in 30 seconds because it's water based and it goes in like butter, and I never got post injection pain. If you're considering a brain derived neurotropic factor comparison video, I vote yes. There's some interesting evidence that P21 worth checking out. Okay, I'll make a mental note of that. I'm sure I'll get into that. I'm sure I'll find that when I start researching. Um, and then if the evidence is compelling, I'll include it. After the first 5 milliliter injection of cerebrolysin, my piss was brown the next morning. Is this normal? No, that never happened to me. That doesn't sound normal. That doesn't sound normal at all. That sounds concerning. Are you fully hydrated? Are you drinking like 4 liters, 5 liters per day at least? Tiger fan? Currently on week 5 of 5 milliliters daily. First few days experienced SSRI-like feelings, but that slowly went away. I'm thinking about taking time off and restarting. Could achieve that feeling again. It could be that you're just used to the feeling now. I noticed the same thing with cerebrolysin that, or with SSRIs, like the first couple of days you get almost euphoric, and then it kind of tapers off, and then you feel normal again. Or are you now used to this euphoric feeling, and you just hit a new baseline? So you go from here to here, and then this difference, right? This difference from normal to euphoric, you feel like, oh, holy shit! It's like the come up of MDMA. You come up, and then after like 4 hours on MDMA, you're like, I feel normal again, even though you're fucking rolling still, your fucking brains out. So that could be the case, and maybe we're just used to that feeling. You could take like 1 or 2 weeks off and then restart it again, but I doubt. Could be. Everybody's different, right? Give it a try. Report back to us. Should 27 gauge, 1.5 inch needle be sufficient in the glutes intramuscular 10% body fat? I would do 1 inch at least. Yeah. Based on Steve's data, BDNF isn't main cause tumor necrosis factor alpha probably more important. Yeah, I'll make sure I include that too. Skipping people's super chat because it's the wrong day is interesting. We didn't know. We're new. Okay, I'll answer them at the end. But right now we're talking about cerebrolysin. Right? Get with the program. It's even in the fucking title. Just anecdote. Doing 5 days on, 2 days off. My resting heart rate and heart rate variability on those 5 days on is an all-time high, and then 2 days off it decreases a bit. Still better than baseline from before. Yeah, but let's be honest, Benjamin. You're also taking a good amount of stimulants. So, yeah, we both know that the appetite suppression and the retrotrutide compounds might also increase your resting heart rate. So there might be a little bit of a drug interaction there. So if you want true effects of the cerebrolysin, take everything else out and then see if that's still the case. Because there is obviously some drug interactions taking place. Good thing you don't have to run this indefinitely, otherwise it would be expensive. Yeah. Luckily. Cerebrolysin with Momentin is a good choice. Do you mention it in the video? No, I didn't mention that, and I don't even know what Momentin is. So, again, hopefully we can discuss that in the Neurotropic Factor Secretagogue video. Have you combined cerebrolysin with other peptides, and for what purpose? No, I have not, besides growth hormone. So that's why I asked you guys if you combine cerebrolysin with Samax, Lank. I mean, I combined it with Nupep, Dihexin, that kind of stuff. But those are orals, and of course they increase brain-derived neurotropic factor to a certain extent. But yeah, they're also nootropics, right? So yeah, I did combine it with Samax. No, not Samax, with Dihexa, Noopept, and Bromantane. Those three. Bromantane. I don't think does Bromantane increase brain-derived neurotropic factor? I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, so I combined it with other nootropics like Dihexa and Noopept, but not Samax, Slank, or some of these N-acetyl amidate versions. So if anybody's combined that, then please let us know. $100. Holy moly. Your advice and website have been invaluable on this cut. Keep up the good work, brother. All right. Well, not cerebrolysin content, but if it helps, man. And your donation helps me a lot. Because then I can take my wife out to dinner again. Because my wife's eating like a fucking maniac right now. She's so pregnant. Cerebrolysin plus Dinesipil plus Momentum plus classic SSRI. Got some new ones. Is considered that boost in BDNF. Could be. Yeah, it sounds excessive to me, but it could probably work. Again, I haven't done that deep dive of all of these drug interactions yet, so I don't know. Dumb question. Does Cerebrolysin IV and A intramuscular are the same thing, or are they different? No, so you basically get the same uh, beneficial effects, but the dosing application or the administration route is different. Intravenous is less invasive for scar tissue because you just have a tiny hole in your artery and then it goes in. But it's more problematic to do because most people don't know how to do self intravenous injections, and then you need a nurse to do that for you. And intramuscular obviously is more invasive because well, you put a 1 inch or 1/2 inch straight into your glutes or other tissues, and then you have an injection depot, 5 milliliters or 2.5 milliliters or 2 milliliters, and then that needs to disperse. So intravenous is instantaneously, and intramuscularly might stay in the injection depot for up to 24 hours and then slowly disperse. So intravenous is absorbed faster and is technically more potent because it absorbs faster over the course of 15 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on how much normal saline solution you have that the cerebrolysin is diluted in and how fast you let that drip. Whereas intramuscularly is not instantaneously. That's basically a slower drip, but it comes from the injection depot. Steve, important to work for work. When the benefit stopped with cerebrolysin, I took 5 milligrams pregnenolone subcutaneous, sublingually or subcutaneous. And I've never heard about injectable pregnenolone. And the benefits came back. Why? Maybe you're pregnenolone deficient? I don't know. I have no explanation for this. Interesting. I was fully hydrated and the piss was literally the same color as cerebrolysin. Ooh, that doesn't sound good, dude. That does not sound good. I have no idea why that happened. Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't sound good to me. I would be scared. What dose of new pep do you take? 10 milligrams, maybe twice a week. Hit the like button. It's too much effort, Jeffrey. It's NDMA glutamate modulator to increase cerebrolysin tolerances. Memantine is an Alzheimer's disease drug. As you know, glutamate and dopamine withdrawal release so much to compensate dopamine. But yeah, it's hard to decipher your message, Farbot. I'll look into Memantine. But if it's just another Alzheimer medication, then yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too interested in all these funky medications that mess with your brain because it might work, but it might also fuck you up. Scared the piss out of me. DC'd after one shot. Yeah. Yeah, that's not good, man. You could try another shot, but if it happens, then I would just throw it in the trash. Obviously, it's not giving you the effect that you need. All right, guys, let's get into these hit piece articles, which are pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to read. So let's get started with those. Oh, let me remove. Oh my God, where is the? All right. So you see the fucking uh, picture that they took. These are the Hari and Aruna Sharma. And when you go to their YouTube channel, it's atrocious. It's fucking atrocious. The content that they put. They're a bunch of perverts. Honestly, it's disgusting. So basically, here's a preface, and then you see them in bed on the YouTube channel, and you see them eating with important people. But here, basically, what this article does, this is what is this article? In Bed with Hari and Aruna, a very fitting title for all the YouTube content that they post. And here you see that in the scientific evidence, they basically duplicate pictures, but that's like a before and after. So here you see when you look at like this black dot and this black dot, it's exactly the same as this black dot and this black dot, but they made it lighter. Like what the fuck? Right? Look at what's in between the red dots. I excluded all of these studies from my deep dive because this is very damning. So here you see that everything between the red highlighted area is the same, but the color is different. So basically, they took one picture, manipulated it, took a little different segment, and then say that there's, a change. And same here. Same here, right? You see in the green area, you see these 4 black dots is exactly the same as here. I hope you guys can see my cursor. And it's the same here in the yellow area. Same, but flipped. Oh no, it's just moved. And this just goes on and on and on. Now, of course, they also mentioned that cerebrolysin was developed by Gerhard Harer after the Second World War by the Nazis and SSS. Basically, he was a Nazi and SS member. He escaped denazification and made a huge career in Austria as a university professor and clinic director, where he proudly flaunted his Nazi views and psyching and suing his critics in academia. So yeah, this is a Nazi drug, just like Gucci is a Nazi brand and the BMW is a Nazi car, right? If you go to Wikipedia, you can find a whole laundry list of brands that were associated with Nazi Germany. So don't get your heads up, don't get your panties too much in a bunch. If you want to boycott everything from Nazi Germany, then you basically have to boycott everything that comes from Germany that was alive during that time, because they were all affiliated with the Nazis and the SS. Now, Harer's cerebrolysin was debunked in various studies. In a Cochrane review, for example, the drug is banned, distribution is illegal in the United States. And let's see. And then here they give more examples of like weird numbers that are not matching. Like here, this is pretty damning. You know, the range is exactly the same. The mean and the range is exactly the same. What the fuck? You know? And it just goes on and on and on here. This is exactly the same, but different color palettes, right? You see this big white dot here and then big white dot there. And it just goes on and on. The pages upon pages of irrefutable duplication. It's pretty bad. Or this, like the rounding errors, like 0.34. It's everywhere to be seen, or 0.25. So that means that the sample size is what, 7 people or 9 people to get these kinds of rounding errors or rounding duplication. It's a very interesting read. It's actually 2 articles that kind of show this, so I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'm already starting to lose my voice. A lot of talk today. So give that one a read. And then there's another one, which basically goes over the same thing. That's the cerebrolysin, Sharmas, Muslias, and Everpharma, where they also mentioned that a lot of the scientific evidence was highly dubious and a lot of immoral duplication of this picture again. Immoral duplication of the pictures with different kinds of shaders to make it look different, when in reality it's just the exact same detail. Excuse me. So you can read up all about that here. Again, all of the scientific evidence that they discussed here, I removed from my cerebrolysin deep dive because it's just too damning, too overwhelming evidence that there's a lot of manipulation. But these people clearly have a financial interest in supporting Everpharma and making sure that cerebrolysin looks like some sort of magical compound that everybody should be taking for all kinds of medical conditions. Basically, cerebrolysin can cure anything. Highly dubious studies. I did include some of the scientific evidence in my deep dive regarding the sleep deprivation, because even though they addressed that here about sleep deprivation, there were some other studies which were not mentioned in the previous 2 articles, these hit piece articles, where an effect on sleep deprivation was also observed. So I included that. And again, the results of the articles that are probably incorrect and highly speculatory and highly dubious, the results of those studies, when you aggregate that, it falls within the range of the other studies, which also had a similar effect. Again, I'm not sure how much of these people are actually intertalking, because, some people could give those information to another group of scientists and have them duplicate it, so you never really know. But I did my best to exclude all of this evidence from my deep dive, and then still there's quite a good amount of compelling research for you to give it a try. Look at this. These pictures are all the same. Eagle and cerebrolysin. It's the same picture, god damn it. The fuck? Anyway, it goes on and on and on. It's a very, very fun read. And then this is a very good one. It's called "What the Hell is Cerebrolysin Actually?" And I read this after I found out that cerebrolysin doesn't even contain brain-derived neurotropic factor. I read these articles after I was done with my deep dive because um, I didn't want to get a wrong impression or go down a rabbit hole that other people basically made for me. So I do the raw analysis first, and then I go through other articles or scientific evidence that might show an opposing view in case of these three articles. So I did my deep dive myself, and then this article basically came to the same conclusion that let's see that cerebrolysin says that it contains neurotropic factors for therapeutic quantities, but it's false. And that HPLC shows other evidence shows that cerebrolysin is composed of amino acids, phosphates, salts, and some random protein fragments, which is what I found as well. Again, scientific evidence is available to everybody. So with a good grasp on the scientific evidence, people can make the same analysis and come to the same conclusions. So here they go pretty much in depth on what it contains. That again, like I mentioned at the start of the cerebrolysin deep dive, that most of the peptides found in cerebrolysin, the free amino acids should be able to pass the blood-brain barrier. Some of the fragments might also pass the blood-brain barrier, but since cerebrolysin doesn't even contain neurotropic factors, which all have a higher molecular weight, that the blood-brain barrier would technically allow. So a brain-derived neurotropic factor and ciliary neurotropic factor all have, molecular weights far exceeding what the blood-brain barrier would tolerate. And that means you have to basically instruct the brain to produce BDNF, CDNF, VEGF, IGF-1, etc. in the brain directly. Maybe cerebrolysin does that, or maybe not. So here they say that cerebrolysin.com is full with scientific errors. I didn't really read much what cerebrolysin.com lists. I linked it down below in the YouTube description section, obviously, for further research. But when I knew that there was no medical insert, then I already was a little bit skeptical. And I did read through them. But here they also specifically say that cerebrolysin here is very, very big. But it's not a single molecule. It's like hundreds of different molecules, hundreds of different amino acids. And in here, glucose oxidase, for example, has a molecular weight. Oh man, I gotta stop soon. Molecular weight of 180 kilodaltons. And cerebrolysin is described as being around 10 kilodaltons at maximum. So if the molecular weight of cerebrolysin, this is 10 kilodaltons, and glucose oxidase is 180, then why is it smaller? In the scientific evidence, you're not allowed to do that. At least when it's peer reviewed, you're not allowed to do that because it gives a different size perspective. Like this is a 3D graph, obviously, even though the man, even though the sharpness of both molecules are the same, whereas the red blood cells are obviously blurred, giving you a depth perspective. You're not supposed to do that. Man, sorry about that. Let's see. So they go into the deceptive marketing on the website. They go into false, false statements that are not scientifically based. Right? A lot of the statements that they made on the cerebrolysin website, they're not, there are no citations for it. So they basically say something without citations. So we get enough of that in the fitness community. Yeah, X does X. Or X does Z. Show me the citation. Experience, bro. It's my experience. That's fine. Just say that it's your experience. So they compare cerebrolysin to like some of the FDA-approved medications in the United States, which also have some pretty bold and extensive claims. But at least there's some regulatory agency behind it telling them that you shouldn't put that on the website and you shouldn't market your product this certain way, even though lobbying kind of circumvents that. So this is basically lobbying on a website. Let's see, what did they say? Yeah, here there's like these citations are not mentioned for the prospective open trials. Like clinical trials, you can't find. I think there was 2 clinical trials on a European website. That's from this article. 2 clinical trials on a European website. One of them was discontinued, and one of them was completed, but the full publications are not available. And then they found a couple clinical trials on the Russian websites, but they couldn't find the full publications of those as well. So yeah, it's kind of bad when you read this, honestly. Like I did this deep dive, and then I started reading these articles. Let's just finish it. You guys know where to find it. You can find it down below. I did the deep dive. I got my anecdotal evidence, right? My anecdotal experience with cerebrolysin. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then you read those articles, and you're like, fuck, man, is it really that bad? You know? Am I just injecting purified pig bones? It's basically an injectable protein shake? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, but it's been used since the 50s, dude. There's no standardization. There's no explanation on the extraction process of the pig brains. Like, are they homogenized? And then are they using lysine or lysine to get the peptides out? Or is it just, some sort of peptidases that break everything down and then you're left with all these amino acids and some peptide fragments? And the peptide fragments like the tubulin and the myelin basic protein and the amylin, I think, those are all just common structures of the brain. And maybe two of those segments actually had neurotropic benefits, like another study mentioned. But it's not really an extract. It's just basically you take a brain, you dissolve the shit out of it to its basic forms, and then you inject that. You know. So interesting stuff. All right, let's do a couple more questions. We'll do the super chats at the end that are completely unrelated. Then I'm gonna save my voice because tomorrow I gotta record another video. I was taking Semax and at the same time as cerebrolysin, didn't feel anything with Semax separately, but again stopped because of the extreme hair loss. Okay. Okay, so Semax and cerebrolysin is the ultimate hair loss stack. They're a bunch of perverts. Very disgusting. All of a sudden, the viewership peaks. Sounds the same what happens with the US FDA. Yeah, just because it's FDA approved doesn't mean it's good. Everybody gets sick. Oh, let's roll something out that gives everybody myocarditis. Yeah, but the World Health Organization said it was safe. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, man. Cerebrolysin solution I'm getting here from Everpharma says administration for intravenous injection and infusion, so I can use intramuscular in my gut. Yeah, so if you go to the website, then you see that they also approve for intramuscular injection. I don't have the box anymore, so was there an insert in there? I can't remember if there was an insert or just at the outside. Was there an insert in the cerebrolysin box? You guys know me, right? When you get like you get something, you buy something, and then there's like this instruction manual, like, ah, fuck this, I'll figure it out. And it's the same with the medical insert. I can't even remember if there was a medical insert or just outside on the box. I can't remember. Let's see. You can use it intramuscular in your glute. Yeah, that's what I've done. And in my quad sometimes, and that's goes smooth as butter, dude. It recently got approved in Canada. Asking my doctor, she did not know anything. Really? Is it approved in Canada? That's new to me. Is it on drugbank.ca? Let's quickly look for that. Drugbank.ca. Cerebrolysin. It's in there. Last updated March 6, 2025. I need to watch my deep dive, dude. So they have all the relevant information. Okay, so they link some clinical trials. Actually, the links 8 pages, 37 clinical trials of cerebrolysin. I wish I found this earlier. And you have to subscribe. Oh, God. Well, we all know what that turns out. Okay, interesting. Hey, brother, love the content. Run me funny question. Do you have the ability to pick pop like The Rock or Terry Crews? Can we see it? This is like schmo content, but I will give you what you paid for. Are you happy? Are you happy? I can do it with my booty too, but that's exclusively reserved for the wife. So yeah, I can pick pop all day long, but unfortunately it's blocked. Have you recently utilized some Max and Solanke again? I use some Max here and there, usually in combination with oxytocin to get my libido to the next level. But I use it sparingly. I have one spray and I use it once in a while. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yes, I can confirm there's a medical insert. Okay, that's good. It's weird because I couldn't find it online. Link to the medical insert, and I ran through all of my cerebrolysin. Brad, can you have a look in the medical insert and see if there's anything about cloudy urine or vertigo or what is it? Dizziness, like all of these side effects that people just mentioned that they got. Dubster Buster, never use cerebrolysin, not planning on it, but here to show some support to the channel and get knowledge. That's the best fucking subscribers, man. They don't even give a shit about the content, but they're still here to show some love. All right, let's do the super chats, which are completely unrelated to to cerebrolysin, but you guys paid for it, so here I am, objectively answering. Adam, no, it's not true, but it's not what this live stream is meant for. Abram Stanker with $10 super chat. I'm on 160 milligrams testosterone CPNA per week and 25 milligrams Anavar daily, so it's 175 milligrams per week. Thinking about adding Primo on the next cycle. What's your thoughts on running Primo on TRT dose of 160 milligrams testosterone CPNA? Do I need to raise the test dosage? No, so if you start with a 1-to-1 ratio at 160 milligrams Primo per week for a total of 320 milligrams anabolic androgenic steroids per week, excuse me, you should be able to keep your serum estradiol levels favorable, not need an aromatase inhibitor. But if you're a low aromatizer, then your serum estradiol might be unfavorable at, let's say, 15, 20 picograms per milliliter. Again, where is it now? I don't know. If you're still here, you probably exited already. Like, fuck this. He's not answering my super chat. I'm out. So if your estradiol on 160 tests, where would it be? 35, 40? Top of the range. If you add in 160 Primo, it will probably be half. So if it's top of the range at 40, then picograms per milliliter, then it probably ends up at 20. If you're at 35 or 30 picograms per milliliter on 160 test TRT, without the Primo, then by adding the same dose of Primo in, that will probably have to 15 to 17 and a half picograms per milliliter, in which case you'll probably experience a little bit of joint pain, libido issues, dry skin, that kind of stuff. Low SHBG, that's for sure. So start at 160 Primo. Do your blood work 4 weeks into this addition to your TRT, of TRT plus, right? Plus stands for 1 unit of extra Primo on top of your 1 unit of TRT. TRT plus Primo, but you'll leave the Primo off. And then you do your blood work 4 weeks into it to see where your serum estradiol is at, and then make the adjustment. So if your estradiol is low, you stay on the exact same dose because 320 milligrams. Fuck, the internet is fucking me up. Sorry, guys, the internet is really bad, but I'm going to power through. You stay in the exact same weekly dose of 320 milligrams steroids per week, but you change the ratio. So maybe you go from 160 tests to 200 tests, and then 160 Primo to 120 Primo, right? To bring that estradiol up. You change the ratio from 1-to-1 to almost 2-to-1. And if your estradiol is super high, you can do it vice versa. You go to 120 tests, even though it sounds a little bit low, and then 200 Primo, right? To bring your estradiol down. But I highly doubt that happens. If you use 160 tests without an aromatase inhibitor, probably get low estrogen from putting in the Primo at a 1-to-1 ratio. And again, do your blood work and take it from there. I hope that was satisfactory for $10. Ronaldo, also $10. Do you have any recommendation on healing spinal injuries? No, I do not. I'm sorry. 2023 car accident with pain sides, completed 3 months off with PT, 3 rounds of cortisone shots. Doctor says I'm too young for surgery. You're the man. No, so I'm not familiar with these kinds of structural problems. Like on the Vigorous Q&A and many videos, I always link the entire injury healing protocol, right? But this is about cerebrolysin, so I didn't link it there. So I just go to the previous Vigorous Q&A. I post an entire healing protocol there with testosterone as a TRT protocol, Anavar for collagen synthesis, collagen building blocks, including collagen type 1, 2, and 3, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, etc. Then collagen synthesis stimulating compounds like GHK copper and silica, and what is it? Anavar, obviously, growth hormone, and then BPC 157, TB 500, and dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors to prevent the breakdown of TB500 and BBC 157, making it more potent. So that protocol is always in the Vigorous Q&A because I always get questions about this. But in the context of a spinal injury, I do not know. I do not know. You could look into this cookie cutter protocol and see if some of these compounds are beneficial to you. But I would rather discuss this with somebody who's specialized in the spine. There was one guy you might be able to do a consultation with. What is his name? He was at the Swiss Symposium and he did a podcast with Huberman. Let me link that. That's the least I could do. Huberman spine. Yeah, Stuart McGill. A second. YouTube. Jesus. Huberman, Stuart McGill. So this guy is the specialist on back health. I've linked it at the top. So make sure you bookmark this, because I'm going to remove it later. Stuart McGill is the specialist when it comes to spine health. And if anybody knows, it's him. I would reach out to him and ask him, like, hey, this is what happened. Send him your fucking x-rays. Whatever he charges, he charges. He's the fucking expert, so he will not be cheap. But he would probably know a lot more about recovery from spinal injuries. Like if it's been 2 years since the car accident, then he probably got a solution for it. And whether that's decompression or acupuncture or deep tissue massage therapy or what is it? I forgot the when they crack your back. Chiropractic work, right? Whatever it is, he would know. He would fucking know. I'm not an expert on this shit, but Dr. Stuart McGill is the fucking expert on the spine, and he would know. So I hope that sends you in the right direction at least. I had a couple more questions, and then we're going to throw in the towel. Okay, now you're just schmoing, dude. Don't schmo in here. I'm a married man. 1 milligrams erythritol lost me 10 pounds in 3 weeks effortlessly. Okay, that's great. Chris Rowe, hey Steve, didn't hear you mention in a deep dive to use filter needles when drawing cerebrolysin or glass fragments sometimes to worry about when using it every day for days to months. Yeah, so glass fragments can end up in the injection, and those are micro fragments. I have a video on this, actually, but I don't use filter needles. No. Like, dude, I learned about this 15 years into my injection hormone injection journey. So whatever glass particles are in my butt cheeks and everywhere else, those are there permanently. And I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So, but yeah, you could use a filter needle if you're worried, obviously. Yeah, I don't do that though. I'm too far gone. Too far gone. I did a lot of deep tissue massage therapy on my glutes. It feels like, I don't know, it feels so good now. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. The rest is just Vigorous Q&A questions. So thank you guys so much for joining. I hope this answers some of your questions. If you're interested about using cerebrolysin, please give those articles a read before you purchase, all right? And then watch the deep dive again to see if it's still convincing to you. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence and anecdotal reports that cerebrolysin was a game changer for people. You know, it was it for me. I notice a lot of benefits, as many other people notice benefits. But again, it might not work out well for you because there are reports of side effects as well, or whether that's clouded urine or vertigo or dizziness or that kind of stuff. And with every drug, obviously, you need to do some research and make sure that you read through the anecdotal reports and the scientific evidence before you really start taking it. Because, if you jump the gun too early, then you might not get what you're paying for. And you might have to get something else like Cortexin or an SSRI or Noopept, for example. All right, let's leave it here. Oh, right, with Degrade. I can send you the translated medical insert if you want, but nothing about dizziness, and they do mention a bunch of other medical conditions and dosing protocols. Yeah, if you can, or just take a picture, and then I'll figure it out with AI. If you can send that over by email, that would be great. We're not going to do a Cerebrolysin deep dive or addendum video, though. We've done enough Cerebrolysin for 2025. But yeah, if you could send it over, if there's anything interesting in there, I'll just I'll write a little comment underneath the Cerebrolysin deep dive for further information. But I'm not going to make another video. 2 videos is enough. Okay, cool, guys. Thanks so much for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow with the how to get massive masculine super pumps deep dive. And then, yeah, we'll do some more deep dives in the near future. All right, peace out. See you later.